Insanity is, for lack of a better word, insane. This is a unique attraction swinging you out over the edge of the Stratosphere Tower, forcing you to stare at the Las Vegas Strip 900 feet beneath you. But has this ride operated for the last time? In this video, I will review the attraction and also explain why it may not operate again. The Stratopshere Tower opened back in 1996. This $550 million resort and casino would stand 1,149 feet or 350 meters tall. The tower and observation deck itself would be 92 stories tall. The remaining height was attributed to the Big Shot. This was an S&S space shot placed atop the tower. But this wasn't the only amusement ride. The complex also opened with a roller coaster named High Roller that spiraled around the observation deck. Two additional amusement rides opened at the turn of the millennium, both from interactive rides. First was X Scream in 2003. This is a seesaw tilting riders over the edge of the tower. Second was Insanity in 2005. This is a special style swing ride. I experienced this attraction in 2019 and it was a neat experience. This ride system is one of a kind, dictated by the unique setting. You have a C-shaped structure with 5 arms arranged in a circle at the end. The ride then loads over the tower. The structure then swivels sideways for the main cycle, dangling the arms over the edge of the building. Those arms then rotate in a circle, flaring outwards from the forces until the riders are looking downwards at the strip. This ride has a long cycle time between the main cycle itself and the time needed for the structure to swivel to and from the tower. Add in the fact this ride seats just 2 riders per arm for a max of 10 riders per cycle, and this could be a capacity nightmare. Yet, I've never heard of the rides atop the Strat getting much of a wait. When it's your turn to board, you are seeing this wide open vehicle. You have just a lap bar holding you in. It's pretty freaky to be honest. Once the ride starts, you get a genuine oh poop moment as you leave the security of the platform and dangle over the edge. You then start to rotate. You spin at a decently fast clip, but the experience doesn't pull any major Gs. In terms of forces, it's pretty similar to a Star Flyer, but the experience is downright terrifying. It is a psychological thriller, as you're staring at the ground far beneath you with just that little restraint holding you in. I do prefer the views in the tower's other rides though. Big Shot and X Scream offer a wider and broader sightline, whereas Insanity has you staring at one section of the ground for the whole ride. So what would I rate the experience? I would give this ride an 8 out of 10. It is scary, no denying that, and the way the ride system operates is really cool to see. My one con with this ride is that the sightlines teeter more towards the fear aspect than the wow aspect. This isn't just in comparison to the other rides on the Strat, but this is compared to other ride types like Star Flyers too. But this ride may never operate again. In early 2023, the ride was listed as closed until further notice. And recently, Insanity was removed entirely from the Strat's website. There are no longer any mentions of the ride anywhere. Whenever parks remove a ride like this from a website altogether, it is rarely a good sign. We've seen several parks do this over the years. Similarly concerning, the resort recently published a video highlighting their rides, and Insanity was deliberately excluded. These are major warning signs on their own, and there are 3 other things to consider. First, interactive rides is no longer in business. We've seen a few parks remove similar teeter-totter rides like X Scream over the years, but there are at least a few installations out there to harvest parts from. Insanity was one of a kind, meaning it cannot be easy to procure replacement parts for it. Supply chain issues have doomed a lot of rides over recent years. The aforementioned High Roller was removed in 2005. It was in need of a 6-figure refurbishment and was the lowest rated ride in the tower. While the location was neat, the ride was essentially a kiddie coaster, and you could argue the tower's other rides offer superior views, which is why it was removed. Second, the Strat is extremely limited to how much space they have available because they're working with an observation platform atop a very skinny tower. To add another new attraction in the future, they may have to remove something. Sky Jump was the last attraction added back in 2010. This is a bungee-style attraction allowing you to jump off the edge of the tower, but this is separate from the trio of amusement rides. Insanity was the last pure amusement ride the tower added, and that was nearly 2 decades ago. You could argue the complex is due for something new, and replacing Insanity would open up a new plot for a flat ride of some sorts. 3. All rides atop the Strat are sensitive to wind, but I believe Insanity is the most impacted. Wind gusts are particularly common atop a tower this tall, and during my visit, Insanity closed for a period of the day due to wind when the other rides did not. And Insanity specifically had a high-profile incident shortly after it opened where a wind gust stopped the ride mid-cycle, leaving guests suspended over the edge of the building for 1.5 hours. Based on all this, I think Insanity may not open again. On one hand, I hope I'm wrong because it is a unique attraction. On the other hand, I am intrigued if the complex may replace it with another ride that could be even more thrilling, but we'll see what happens in the coming months. So those are my thoughts on Insanity, both the ride itself and its potential closure. What are your thoughts about this ride and its future? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, I would appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you considered subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.